final time for the day, I'm going to say that I'm not a counselor and you're watching this video at your own risk if you're watching it. I do have permission, blah, 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 all the permissions, copyright releases, etc. Get a professional counselor if you need it, why, how, etc. in videos 1 through 3, January 22nd. Mindfulness is what we're doing. The exercises for I'm reading currently a bunch of exercises that can be done to practice the practice of mindfulness, because mindfulness takes practice. It's like if you want to have six-pack abs, you have to do sit-ups all the time or other, abdominal exercises. This is mindfulness meditations and urge surfing exercise. Now we're going to do a similar, this is excerpted from a book. So it says, it talks as if we've just done something, but we haven't. Oh, we just mindfully ate the orange. And now we're going to do this. So now we just mindfully ate the orange, and now we're going to do a similar exercise. This exercise may be somewhat more intense than the previous one. We're going to ask you to picture yourself in a situation that you find challenging in your present life. One in which you are triggered in some way, maybe a situation in which you might be tempted to use alcohol or drugs, or engage in another behavior that has been problematic for you. Please take care of yourself by choosing something that is challenging but not overwhelming. As you picture this, we're going to ask you to imagine that you, As you picture this, we're going to ask you to imagine that you do not engage in the reactive behavior, whether it is substance abuse, getting into an argument or fight, or whatever it might be for you. We encourage you to stay with whatever comes up as best as you can with a sense of gentleness and curiosity. If the scenario you pick feels overwhelming or like something you do not want to do or are not ready to do, we encourage you to respect that limit. You might imagine a less intense situation in which you react in a way that feels automatic or out of control. For instance, you might call to mind a relationship or a situation where you might react with anger or in a way that's hurtful to you or another person. Do you all have something in mind? If at any point this becomes overwhelming, you can always just open your eyes, maybe move your body around a little bit to reground in the present. Now I'm going to ask you to close your eyes again if that feels comfortable. You may also leave them open if you choose, maintaining a soft focus a few feet in front of you and letting your eyes just rest there throughout the exercise. Begin by just feeling your body here in the chair, noticing sensations, letting the breath flow easily in and out. Now bringing this scenario that you've chosen to mind, a situation that might or has in the past caused craving or urges to act in a reactive manner, in a way that is not in line with how you want to be in your life. Maybe you're with a certain person or in a certain location. Maybe it's something that has happened in the past that you can recall, or a situation that you imagine would be challenging for you, like right now. Remember that in this scenario, you're going to make the choice not to use any drugs or alcohol or to engage in whatever reactive behavior this scenario triggers for you. Which I would say not to use any drugs, alcohol, overeat, do fat, engage in like having to be right, because that gives you a shot of dopamine, thinking that you're right. The other one, I forgot, that had to do with the Covington kids. So like all of it. We always blame drugs and alcohol, but there is like tons of toxic behaviors that we're all just doing. So pick your toxic behavior that you don't want to engage in. And then now taking a few moments to really picture yourself in that place or situation or with that person, imagining the events or situations that led up to this reactivity, and bringing yourself right to that point where you feel triggered, as though you might behave reactively. And we're just going to pause here for a moment. We often tend to either fall into craving or fight to resist it. Here, we're going to explore our experience a little, finding a balance, just staying with and observing the experience without automatically reacting. So you might begin by noticing any emotions that are rising. Notice what thoughts might be going through your mind. What physical sensations are you experiencing in this situation? What does this feel like in your body? Noticing too what it is about this experience that feels intolerable. Can you stay with it and be gentle with yourself? If you begin to feel overwhelmed at any point, you can always back off a bit by allowing your eyes to open or letting your attention come back to observing your breathing. Remember that we are practicing staying with this experience in a kind, curious way. We're making the choice to not act on any urges or cravings that are arising. We're just staying with them and observing as best we can what is happening in your body and mind, what a craving or an urge feels like, and see if you can feel what's here without tightening around it or resisting it. Just accepting it. Okay, next page. So, without observing or resisting, feeling what it is like to not engage in the behavior, discovering what happens when you stay with this experience and explore it a little. What is it you are truly needing? Is there a longing for something? Maybe there is fear, anger, loneliness, maybe relief or freedom. What is it you really need right now? Just staying with this discomfort and unfamiliarity, observing with a very gentle curiosity. If a craving or urge becomes increasingly intense, you might imagine it like an ocean wave. Imagine that you're riding that wave, using your breath as a surfboard to stay steady. Your job is to ride the wave of desire from its beginning, as it grows, staying right with it, through the peak of its intensity, keeping your balance while the wave rises and staying on top of it until it naturally begins to subside. You are riding this wave rather than succumbing to the urge and being wiped out by it. Just watching the pattern as the urge or craving rises and then falls, and trusting that without any action on your part, all the waves of desire, like waves on the ocean, arise and fall and eventually fade away. Noticing now how you can simply stay present with this wave instead of immediately reacting to it, accepting the craving and staying with it without giving it into the urge, without acting on it, without having to make it go away. Now, take the time you need, gently letting go of the scenario you've imagined, and slowly and gently bring your attention back into the room, taking a deep breath if you'd like to. Maybe moving the body a little if that feels right. And this is excerpted from I'm not sure. It says Bowen, S, Chawla, N, and Marlett, G.A., 2011, Mindfulness-Based Relapse Prevention for Addictive Behaviors, A Clinician's Guide, New York, New York, the Guilford Press. Who also has no idea who I am or that I'm reading their material. But I have the permission of the people that compiled it who have the permission, and it's for education, and I think it's kosher with all the copyright stuff. To the best of my awareness, it is. okay. And that's it for today. Feel pretty happy. It's Saturday. I guess I'm gonna do the dishes. Take a little walk with my dog. Made pasta yesterday as part of the daily experience. Pasta is fun. It's like Play-Doh, but for grown-ups. And on that note, off we go for the rest of the day.